Running a brokerage is hard work, so whether you're focused on building your own sales pipeline, hiring the best agents, leveling up your team's production, or protecting the culture you've built, you're in the right place. Real estate brings the challenges, and we share the solution. Welcome to the show dedicated to broker entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Brokerpreneur Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Vince Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here as usual with the big guy himself.
Who's doing fantastic? We know that's where this is. We know that's where this is going.
Yeah. What are we talking about, Matt?
There we go. How you lead is how you recruit, is what it basically boils down to, and so we're going to dig into that just a little bit. Everybody, I hopefully think they know this already, but we're gonna dig into it and make sure.
Yeah, killer. I love it. Well, guys, before we get started, wherever you're watching this, make sure you hit that follow, that subscribe button. Also, check out some of the links in the description below. We got some really cool things that are absolutely free for you to take advantage of. Everything from free downloads to actually coming and being live with us for an hour every Friday at Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society.
Yep.
We love meeting the Brokerpreneur listeners out there. We'd love to see your smiling face. If you're not recruiting, well, your other face too. We'd love to see whatever face you want to bring.
That's right. Whichever one you want to put on.
Yeah, exactly. So, Matt, how you lead is how you recruit. I love that. I love that statement. Tell us a little bit, by what you mean by that.
All right, but hang on. So first, so new website's coming, right? So So we've got some new stuff that's going to be on there, right? Some other things we know everybody's gonna love. So we've changed some things recently, but there's going to be a big switch over. It'd be by November 15th, I would think, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's about right. So if you would just go take a look at that, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and more importantly, if you're a podcast listener and you go to our site and you check some things out, even if you don't want to download anything there, tell us what else you'd like to see there. What else would be helpful, right?
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we put it on the site.
Yeah. Your all's feedback is so important to us.
Absolutely.
And I promise, whatever you tell us is going to make it to the list.
Yep.
And we're going to find a way to add some value to whatever that is.
Yep. How you lead is how you recruit.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And so here's what I speak. Yeah, that's right. So here's specifically what I mean by that. Right. So if you tell your agents, hey, go out and get more listings, and they don't see you doing things that is you putting things in place that helps you grow your business the way that you want, then they don't see you leading them. They just see you telling them. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's not blur a line here really quick. Okay. Here's what I mean by let's not blur a line. If you're a broker that's still out there selling, completely get it, right? We have a bunch of our brokers that are still out there selling. I completely get that. But you being great at going out there and getting listings doesn't necessarily mean you're going to attract other agents that are great at going out there and getting listings.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's exactly right.
So what I'm actually talking about is putting on display the type of leader that people that are getting good listings and that know how to get good listings, the type of leader that they want to be around.
Yeah.
Do you follow me? So it's not just, hey, am I good at getting listings? And then all of a sudden, all the other agents around me want to do that, right?
Right.
Because that's not how it works. That's not how it works, right?
Yep.
So you might be an anomaly as a broker.
Yeah.
But that's not how you attract them.
We're human.
Right. That's right. So what we're talking about is what is it that you do as a broker consistently on a regular basis that other people see, that people that are the type of people that you want in your office go, you know what, I'd like to be in that office because what that broker's doing, I really like.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and I'm assuming we're eventually in this conversation going to be talking about, whenever you do determine what those things are, how do you actually get the agent to realize it's easy for I guess what I'm saying is it's easy for your current agents, especially if you have a physical space, to be around you and be like, oh, that's what he or she does. Right. I see that all the time. Yeah, I love them being my leader because I see those actions. Mm-hmm. But a recruit, they're not around to see it. So we'll talk about that. So let's start by, and I'm a marketing mind. You take it however you want, but typically I'm always going to say, okay, determine your audience, that kind of thing, yada yada yada.
Right, and you'd be correct in part.
Right, but how is it that you take a look, we'll say self-reflect, take a look in the mirror and say, these are the things.
Yeah.
Right? Because a broker can say, you know what, I've got 101 things to do today.
Oh yeah, and they do.
Yeah, and they do. Absolutely. Right. But how do they know, okay, well, these are the ones that are that.
Right.
And these are the ones where I'm putting out fires all day.
Yeah. So the answer is simple, but executing the answer is difficult.
Okay.
Okay. So the answer is what is it that's going to help the agent grow their business, and what does a broker do that looks that same way? That's really simple.
Yeah.
Right. So what gets agents better at getting more listings? Let's say they have to continue their training. They have to continue their education. Right. We got a lot going on in real estate right now.
Know it.
They're going to have to adjust their game. They're going to have to get better at their game. Right. But if you're a broker and you're just sitting in the class next to them going, oh my God, that is how I can get more listings. They don't look at you like their leader at that point.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And you can tell yourself they do.
All right.
But they look at you like another agent that's really productive, and they want to be around that productive agent because that agent's making a lot of money, and they want to emulate them and they want to be them. But they don't look at you like the leader of your brokerage. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
They look at you as a great agent, and what you're attracting is other great agents. If you want agents that look at their business like a business, which helps your brokerage,
of course,
then they have to see you looking at your business like a business, not just like an agent that's trying to create more listings.
Yeah. Now, and you made a great point. Now more than ever.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's just like anything.
It's go time.
It's go time right now.
Yep, it's crunch time.
Or it was go time a couple months ago. Wherever you're listening to this, but absolutely, you're spot on as usual. So, what does a broker do?
Yeah. So do your agents see you going to things that help them understand that you're getting better at running a business?
Like continuing ed type stuff, or just
training and development, right? Training and development is a big part of it, right? We believe there's 4 pillars in business, and we didn't get it from Matt and Ben isms. We got it from the top business schools, right? Yep. So those top business schools say, here's fundamentally the 4 things that make your business run the way that they're supposed to run. If you pay attention to these, everything in business falls in these 4 categories. That's what we focus on. One of those, directly or indirectly correlates with training, right? Yeah. And so do they see you being trained on things that they need to see you being trained on? I'll give you a great example. One of our brokers right now is we just saw them recently. They are right now in a class that is a leadership class that is telling, and their agents are seeing them on social media going to this leadership class that helps them become a better leader in their community.
Yeah.
That is what agents, if they're looking for a broker that is running their brokerage the right way, knows that there has to be that type of growth in there. I'm telling you, if they see you in the same listing class as them, if they see you treating training the same exact way they're treating it, they're treating it the same way that you're treating it, they're going to think you're just a great agent.
Yeah.
And so are you in, do you belong to, and are you going to training seminars that are about how to generate more business from a listing standpoint, or or do they see you going to a class that is about how to make your staff more productive?
Yeah.
There's 2 different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was practicing chiropractic, that is, I would come across, let's say, something that I was like, okay, I'm not sure, and I can't even find necessarily this one way of treating this certain condition that's the best way. Right. Multiple avenues, that kind of thing. And I remember going to either continuing ed or seminars or places that teach new techniques and that kind of thing, specifically to learn about specific conditions. Let's say migraine headaches or something like that. And I would go, and I would always come back with so much great information. Right. And your patients, just the same way as your agents, your patients look at you as a leader. Right. And so, and when you came back and you're talking about these things and you're so much more knowledgeable, you could just see from the patient's standpoint, like, wow, he really cares. Right. He didn't have to go and spend the weekend, in classes and that kind of thing. He really cares about making us better and healthier and so forth, which always brought me referrals. Right. Of, well, my doctor did this. Right. Right. If you got that, man, you need to come here. He's like knows everything about it. That kind of thing. The same thing would happen, inside of a real estate brokerage if you guys were doing the same thing. And Matt knows, like, I hate learning.
Whatever. He's a pro learner, people. He's a pro learner.
But if you guys, I love learning. And so if you guys are like that in any form or fashion, gosh, this to me seems like maybe the most no-brainer, easiest thing to do on the face of the earth.
Right.
And if you don't, man, I don't know the answer to that. I'll let Matt answer that right now.
Yeah. So here's how I would look at that. Let's say that you're in your staff or your sales meeting and you start talking about things that have to do with business, and everyone else in your meeting can contribute at the same level you can as the leader.
Right.
At that point, how long does everybody want to be in that room?
Yeah, you're essentially equals. It's just they're at a cubicle and you're in an office.
Right. And so here's what happens in some of those situations. The broker is up there and they're like, oh yeah, and you did this and that's great, and you get your listings like that. Well, whenever I go out and I do my listings like this, and this is what and everybody's like, yeah, this is great and everything, and then they leave, and then one of those agents who's a productive agent bumps into another broker, and they bump into that other broker, and that other broker says, oh yeah, is this what's going on with your business? Because you can do this and this and make this transition with your business and go in this direction, and it's actually going to help you. And the person's like, oh my gosh, that is something. Yeah, that is something that would absolutely help me out. And then that person goes back to their office, and one of the other agents says, hey, what's going on? He goes, well, I was thinking about this, and I bumped into somebody and they were saying this, and they go, oh man, that really does make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
At that point, they're not saying, oh, I don't like my broker, I don't love my broker, my broker's not great at doing this, my broker isn't great at doing that. What they're saying is, my broker was not talking to me about these things that are future paced, number one, and number two, I don't see my broker doing anything that would make me believe that my broker is at that level of education that this other broker is at.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden, not only is it just the agent that's that productive agent that's doing as much business as you, but now the three people they talk to in your office, and they're saying, hey, I'm going to go over here and I think I'm going to go in this direction because that's that next level in my business. We've talked about this before. Agents do not move laterally.
Right.
They move down and they move up. They do not move laterally.
Right.
Okay. And if they do move laterally, they didn't think they were moving laterally.
Right,
it was
right,
completely a mistake, and then they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's whenever you see somebody move, and then 3 months later they move somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And especially if they're productive. So what happens is now they go somewhere else, and somebody else says, hey, how's it going over there? And they're like, oh my gosh, it is what I thought. This person's staying ahead. I do see them on social media and going to these classes, and they're doing this training. And when we go to seminars, I see them there, but they're going into things that are helping me get better at my business. And when I talk to them, when they coach with me in our sales meeting, they're talking about these things and staying ahead of these. Instead of the broker standing there talking about the same old shit every time, and just talking about doing it in a way that's maybe so-and-so, give me this, and it's this little bit of edge, and literally saying the same thing over and over and over. People, when they're ready to move forward, if they don't think you can take them because they don't see you training, because they don't see you getting better, they're going to go find somebody that will. If you're recruiting, my gosh, be that person.
Yeah.
This is what you alluded to kind of in the beginning. How do you get that message out? You're going to put things out there that say things like going to this class, going to this training, going to this whatever. Can't wait to meet the so-and-so with all the other people that do this because this is what I'm learning. Going to NAR, going to a state association, heading into the office at the realtor organization. Today we're learning on broker this and that, and learning more about the MLS so I can bring it back to my peeps. They have to see that those things are happening. Yeah. They have to see that those things are moving forward. You expect them to get better at what they know so they can service their client better. Well, man, you got to get better because they are your client.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And so I'm just trying to think, right? If I'm a broker and I'm sitting here and I'm listening, well, the first thing that I kind of thought of when you were talking about all that was they're not going to stay. If they meet they're not going to stay just because you guys are friends, right? And a lot of brokers feel like, well, I'm good friends, especially smaller brokerages. Hey, Dr. Ben here. I hope you're enjoying this episode. If sometimes you feel overloaded or alone when it comes to building your brokerage, I want you to know that we are here for you. There's so much support available to agents, but hardly any dedicated to brokers. I want to personally invite you to schedule a complimentary strategy call where Matt will help you build a 3-step profitability plan that will immediately produce results. This is not a sales pitch. There's no obligation. Simply click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the show.
Right.
Man, like I'm actually have friendships and relationships with each of these, 10 or 12 agents. And if you've got 100, maybe you feel that way with 100 of them. But they will expect you to still be friends if they move.
Yep.
It's like,
absolutely.
What if you're
How many
not?
times have we seen that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Or they'll expect you to be friends even if they go to a different company.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, like you're trying to recruit them and you talk to them and you're great friends with them and you think they're coming to your company, but they go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. If recruiting them.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. And so, and that's that friend zone. But I don't want to get into that conversation. So, if I'm a broker and I'm saying, okay, I'm going and I'm doing some trainings, right? And I'm coming back and I'm talking to my current agents and I'm saying, hey, here's all this great stuff they learned, and they've got their pens and pencils and they're taking notes diligently, and you're reaching out and maybe your recruits and you're sharing some of that value. And let's say they're like, oh man, thank you so much. Thanks for that value. I'm really appreciative of all that. It's easy to get caught in just you're the guy who just adds tons of value.
Right.
How does a broker learn those things, share them with their agents, share them with the recruits, and turn that into appointments and interviews and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. This isn't about show friends, it's about show business.
Right.
Right. So we talk about that a bunch. So absolutely, we're huge. You got to have that value first. That makes your conversation with them easier. It makes it easier for you to talk to them. You're more comfortable with them. Everybody's just in a better place whenever you start with value. Amen. Okay. So what you're saying is, how do they transition, or when do they transition, or what do they transition with? Right.
Yeah.
Is part. Okay.
All the above.
Yep. Yeah. So all of the above are 3 different things. I'm going to try to encapsulate them as into one thing that makes it, and one thing that makes it easier.
Even better.
Okay. As soon as you get past the value that you offer somebody, and both people understand the intention of the conversation, it turns into influence.
Yeah.
And when it turns into influence, that allows you to get the result you want.
Yep.
Okay. So here's what that means. You continue adding value to them. At some point, they're going to say, okay, why are you adding all this value? Either they're going to say it out loud or they're thinking it. Okay. Mm-hmm. At that point of intention, you have to have a fundamental reason why you're doing it. Correct. Do you really want to help the real estate agents in your market get better? Do you really want to grow your business? Most times people think those 2 things are mutually exclusive.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly believe that if you were predominant in your market and known as the person that knows the most about getting the best listings and getting the highest quality listings and listings selling the way that they're supposed to, and you were good at teaching your agents how to get more listings, honestly believe that would help you grow.
Yeah.
That would help your brokerage grow. But at some point, you're going to have to transition that from what that knowledge is and what that value is into a conversation about how you could help someone specifically with that.
Yeah.
So when you start talking to them about the value that you're offering, and you begin having a discussion with them about how that value can help them in their business, that's when it transitions from the intention of the value into your influence. Because that's when they see you being an expert.
Yeah.
So if you can deliver value, if you can have the conversation with them and say, hey, this is how this is going to impact your business and everything. And they're like, okay, well, tell me, this is where I'm at. Tell me how I could do this a little bit better in my business. That's that break point.
Yeah.
That's that break point when it's very easy for you to say, well, you can do this, but the easiest thing for you to do is this. Because now you have that influence. Now it's easy for you to say, well, you should work with me. Because at that point, you have earned the right to help advise them on what's best with their business.
Yeah.
That's when that transition becomes easy. And so here's the flow of things, right? Everything we do is built around this, by the way. So
100%.
So it goes value, intention, influence, and then it goes results. Let's say for some reason it goes value, intention. You have the conversation with them, and you start to talk to them, and you say, "Hey, maybe we should work together." And they push back from the table. What a lot of people think they do is they go, "Oh, well, I just didn't get the result I want. I need to go start over somewhere else."
Yeah.
The truth is, you just go back to value. And then you go back to intention and reestablish that. And then you try to take them back to influence at that point, because continuing to go through that process is what allows you to get to the point where you get the results you want.
Yeah.
Most people just give up and go, "I don't know what to do next." That's what we hear a lot.
Well, you know it every day.
Right. And so what they're basically saying is, "Hey, I gave value to somebody. I talked to them about possibly joining my company. They didn't join my company. What do I do? What do I do now?"
Yeah.
The reason why is because you didn't have enough influence to say, "You should come work with me."
Yeah.
They've already came to you and said, "Hey, tell me about the value that you gave me." They've already come there and said, "I see you have something that I want. How is this going to apply to my business?" But they didn't quite believe that you had the influence to be able to make that change in their business.
Yeah.
So you go back and add more value, and you go back and figure out the intention, and you keep doing that until your influence allows them to go to the result that you both want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge part of our daily masterminds, and and it's just because our brokerpreneurs they have these conversations all the time throughout the week,
Right.
And it just gets to a point where it's like, okay, like I can tell that I'm really close with this person, but
Yep.
Now what?
Right.
And instead of it being like paralysis by analysis, and then just hop on the mastermind, and we're like,
Right.
okay, here's where you are. This you need to build up more of this aspect of that recruiting circle. And so
sometimes what happens though is they think they're in one place and they're really in another.
yes.
They think they're in influence and really they're still in the intention stage.
Yeah.
Or they think they're in the intention stage and they're really in the influence stage.
Oh yeah.
Or
absolutely.
they think they're in the influence stage and they really should be asking for the result.
Yeah, that happens actually. That's the one that's the most surprising.
Right.
Because it's tough, right? Because you've gotten so far through
Right.
that circle that you have that fear of, oh gosh, I've added a ton of value, right? My intentions and my purpose are like man, it is so crystal clear, where we are, and I have so much influence. That person is actually reaching out to me, asking me broker
Absolutely.
questions. We get that all the time,
Right.
but it's like, I don't want to mess it up.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to mess it up. And I want to do an entire episode on what I'm getting ready to say. This is something that you said. I don't think you've realized how maybe powerful it was, and I hope it's powerful to everybody else, because I could definitely see it in the faces of the people in the mastermind. This is where they get in that influence, and they're afraid of, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to take it to that result section. And you said, so you settle for the conversation that you can have, instead of refusing. Trying to read my writing here. Instead of refusing to have the conversation that you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like, and as soon as you said that, I didn't write it down, and I wished I would have written it down, and then I just now did.
Right.
A couple days later. So, you guys just added, don't forget things. But I was like, man, that happens
All the time.
In probably every recruiting conversation, almost ever.
Bulk of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I want to do an episode just on that. We can touch on it here just for
We'll skip it and we'll do a whole episode.
Okay, yep. Perfect. And so let's just in this one, we're gonna at least we'll tease them a little bit. That's coming up next, guys.
So here's the other thing that I will point out about this, that you have to have access to resources, right? There's not a broker listening to this that doesn't think that their agent should have a CRM and use it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, for
Not
sure.
a broker listening that doesn't think that they shouldn't have some type of marketing plan, that doesn't some type of listing presentation, that doesn't know how to do a CMA, that shouldn't have access to the MLS. You got all of these tools that your agent should have. What are the tools you should have? What are the resources you should be dealing with on a regular basis to make sure you are working the way that you're supposed to? A lot of people think, well, I've got my franchise system, and my franchise system does all that. That's no different than saying, hey, I bought Chime, or hey, I bought KV Core, or hey, I bought whatever. So it's got all that. So I've got all that in place. No. Are you leveraging it? Are you using it? Are you doing it? How do you put those things in place the way that you need to put those things in place? That really is the difference.
Yeah.
Adoption versus adaption. It's about access to the tools and resources, and then motivation and mindset to keep you moving forward on that. It's crucial for your agents, and brokers sit around and laugh all the time. I do. Brokers sit around and laugh, those agents would be killing it if they would just do these 3 things that I said and use that tool that I told them to use, right?
Said so much.
And then we sit around as brokers and we don't use the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
So it's about the access to the resources, but it's also about the mindset and the attitude to leverage them the way that you need to. It is about adoption, not adaption.
Yeah. Would you say, Matt, that if someone out there, owns the tool,
right,
but doesn't, help their agents leverage the tool, that they are a tool?
I think they're culpable for their agent's failure.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look in the mirror about for sure.
Absolutely.
And
stop blaming the agent.
Yeah, and on the same in those same regards, you don't take credit for the success of the ones that are killing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
I mean,
within reason. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're doing the things that you
right.
mentioned, yes. I just mean like if you're not doing it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've got 28 agents. I have no idea what the hell they're doing, but they're crushing it. And that's because they work with me.
I'm an awesome broker.
Because the next thing you know, you pick your head up and they're gone somewhere else because somebody else said, hey, you're doing this really well, but what if you did this? And they're like, why haven't I heard that from my broker? Yeah. And that's why people walk in and tell their broker all the time, it's a business decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is nothing personal.
Yeah, we're
it's
still
a business
friends.
decision. That's right.
That's right.
Thanks for everything you've done. You got me to right here, but I can't see you taking me any farther, so I need to go somewhere else where somebody can take me farther.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Matt, anything else?
Oh, there's plenty.
Well, I know. I just mean like on this particular topic.
No, not in this particular topic.
Okay.
And the reason why we got to jump off, man. We got mastermind here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Wherever you listen to this, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Come on, you can do it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, what's up, guys? Yep. We're super excited that you can see us.
Yep.
And make sure you hit that red subscribe button because I know you can see that too, and the bell right beside of it. If there's one thing that you can do for me for Thanksgiving,
Christmas, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. My birthday was in July. Hit that thumbs up button if you like our content. It takes our videos, and it's the biggest thing that affects the algorithm. Pushes them to the top whenever someone's searching recruiting real estate agents.
Absolutely. And you can push the dislike. If you completely disagree, I want you to push the dislike as well. I'd love for you to put in the comments what it is that you didn't like about it. Not that you have to. If you just dislike it, right, just hit the dislike and move on.
You're like, man, that was a horrible tool joke.
Right, that's right. But if you don't agree with it, if you thought I was way off, if I was wrong, or if I hurt your feelings, whatever the deal is, put it in there because I want to address it, right? We'll put it on the podcast. We're not going to say username whatever said this. But if it's something that we can take a closer look at, heck yes, we're going to take a closer look at, and I'd love to be wrong about it.
Yeah, for sure. And gosh, maybe we invite you on the show and we can have a discussion about it. All right, who knows, man? We love you guys. It's all good. Right. But yeah, hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment down below if you do, and we read every single one of those, and I try and reply to them ASAP.
Yep.
That being said, go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. You're going to see kind of a basic homepage today. Oh, yeah. But by the end of next week, then you're going to see a brand new one. It's going to look class, as I like to call it. That's class. I saw that on a YouTube video from these Scottish people. And so, Matt.
Yep.
We do this as well as everything else that we do for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
Man, we just want to be part of your win.